going on, guys? In today's lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play this cool chord melody I came up with. It goes a little something like this. All right, part one goes like this. So what am I doing here? First of all, we're in the key of C sharp minor, and this whole first part is going to revolve around the C sharp minor 7 chord shape. If you guys aren't familiar with the C sharp minor 7, we're going to take our first finger and bar the 4th fret, starting on the A string. And then my ring finger is going to be on the 6th fret on the D, and my middle finger is going to take the 5 on the B string. And that's our C sharp minor 7. Beautiful chord, beautiful shape. Now what I'm going to be doing here, I'm going to first of all take off my middle finger, so we get this kind of like a suspended 7 chord, C sharp suspended 7, or you can think of it as a C sharp minor 9 if you want. And I'm going to start by hitting the A string with my pick, and then I'm going to take my middle finger and I'm going to snap the B and the G string at the same time. That's going to give me the 2 4s right here. And then I'm going to hammer on with my middle finger onto the B string 5th fret. That's going to give me this. Just like that. Okay, and that's how I get that snap with my middle finger in there. Gives it a cool effect. From here, I'm going to go back to the A string. I'm going to pick that note, and then with my middle finger again, I'm going to place my pinky this time on the 7th fret of the E, and then I'm going to snap that last E string. Okay? So it's not quite finger picking. I'm using my pick, but I'm also going to use my middle finger. I guess you can call it hybrid picking. Okay, now this note that we're adding here on the 7th fret, it's basically just the octave of the same note that we have here, the B, on the 4th fret of the G string. And I'm just adding it an octave higher, which gives me a really nice melody on top of that progression. All right, part 2, very simple, goes like this. One more time. Now all I'm doing here is I'm taking that C sharp minor 7 shape that we had at the beginning, and I'm going to move it up the fretboards to a different version, different voicing, right here on the 9th fret. Now this one is very simple. All it is taking your first finger and placing it across the last 4 strings on the 9th fret, giving you a C sharp minor 7, and if you add the 11th fret and the high E string, you get a C sharp minor 9 chord. So what I'm doing here is in the shape, I'm going to hit the D string with my pick, and then I'm going to let go of the 11th fret with my 3rd finger, and with my middle finger here, I'm going to snap the last 2 strings, and then I'm going to hammer down onto the 11th so I get this sound. Okay? I'm going to add my pinky on the 12th fret of the B string. All I'm doing here is I'm hitting the octave on the D string, so these 2 strings, these 2 notes are going to be exactly the same. Okay? So it doesn't change the chord at all. We're still playing a C sharp minor 9 here. Now if I put that with the first part 1 and part 2 together, you get this. Now it's important to get those mutes in there as well to give it a nice sense of rhythm. All right, part 3. We got this cool swung melody. Now all I'm doing here, I'm in the key of C sharp, right? So C sharp on the high E string is going to start on the 9th fret, and I'm just playing around my pentatonic shape. So my pentatonic shape goes like this. And on the G string, I have my blues note on the 12th fret. So I have 9, 11, and 12. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the 10th fret. I'm going to slide in and out of that blues note all with one pick. Slide in, slide out. And I'm just going to pick around that in this scale. And you want to swing that melody as well. You don't want it straight like this. Or give it a nice swing. Okay, let's put part 1, part 2, and part 3 together. Cool. All right, part 4 is very similar to part 2. Goes like this. Now all I'm doing here is I'm taking that minor 9 shape that we had before, but I'm going to move it up to the 14th fret, giving me an F sharp minor 9. And I'm just going to do exactly the same thing that we did before. I'm barring my first finger across the last 4 strings, and I'm going to hammer onto the 16th fret of the last string with my 3rd finger. This time though, I'm going to actually pick all the strings, break them all down, and then hammer down, let go, and pick the strings. Okay, let's put part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4 together. One more time. All right, part 5. It's going to be a series of diminished chords moving down in minor thirds across the neck. Okay. Now my shape here, it's very simple. It's going to be just like a zigzag type of shape, starting on the 13th fret with my first finger. It's going to be 13, 14, 13, 14. Now every time you have a diminished chord or a diminished lick, diminished shape, anything diminished, you can move that down or up in minor thirds, and it'll still have the same harmonic qualities. So that's all I'm doing here is I'm taking this diminished shape, I'm just moving it down by minor thirds. So that's just going to be 3 frets away. I'm just taking that shape and moving that down by minor thirds, and that's just going to be 3 frets away from each other. Okay, so I have that on the 13th fret, the 10th fret, the 7th fret, and the 14th. In between all those, I'm going to have mutes. And all I'm going to do that is I'm going to take that shape, lift up my fingers, but rest them on the strings. That's going to give me a nice mute to pick with my right hand. Okay, one more time. Oops. Let's put part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and part 5 all together. Part 6. All I'm doing here is I'm playing around the C sharp harmonic minor scale. And the reason I moved here to a harmonic minor scale is because I want to get this note in there, the natural C note, because the last chord in the lick is a G sharp flat 13 chord, and I want to emphasize that note right there. So the lick that I have is going to outline that for me. I'm going to do a little hammer on pull off on the 4th and 5th fret on the last string. From there I'm going to outline a C sharp minor triad. Okay, so I have all with 1 pick, hammer on pull off, and then a little C sharp minor triad. Then I'm going to repeat the same thing on the next string on the B, but I'm going to outline a G sharp major triad. Okay, so I have, when you play that in rhythm, it's going to sound like this. Then we're just going to hit my root, G sharp, and I'm going to play a G sharp flat 13 chord and give it a little bit of vibrato. So all together, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, all the way up to part 6 goes like this. A little faster. A little faster. Yeah. Too fast. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed that lesson. There's many more to come, so make sure you subscribe. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, the handle is @RoyZivMusic, so go check that out for more content. And if you want even more lessons, some more advanced stuff, check out RoyZiv.com and check out some of my packages on JamTrackCentral.com. See you guys in the next video.